Hello and welcome to Kegums in Latvia. This is the Latvian Grand Prix. My name's Paul Malin. You join us live from the trackside on what is a pretty windy and overcast day here in the Baltic States region. We had a bit of overnight rain plus some watering after the qualifying yesterday. And this crowd here are going to witness some great racing in MX2 this afternoon. There's no change in the first 7 championship positions. It's Jeffrey Hurlings, Tommy Searle, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Joel Roulance, Jordi Tixier and Jake Nichols, with Max Anstey down in 7th. But Dylan Ferrandis, after his performance a couple of weeks ago in Sweden, moves up from 10th place to 8th in the championship, pushing Lupino down to 10th. So those guys are going to be looking to try and re-establish themselves, pick up some decent points. But the first time we came here was back in 2009. Rui Gonçalves was the winner back then with a 2nd and a 1st over his teammate Marvin Musquin, with Gauthier Paulin finishing 3rd. Last year, it was Ken Roczen, a double moto winner. But the year before, Jeffrey Hurlings, who is our current championship leader, won here with a 3rd and a 1st from Ken Roczen and Stephen Frossard. In the qualifying yesterday, more of that in a moment, but it was quite an eventful affair, especially for Jeffrey Hurlings. The circuit here, just over 1,500 meters long, about 75 meters into turn 1, which is the tightest track we will have on the calendar this year. A very, very tight 180 degrees, not even open or flowing. It is literally a one-post turn heading back straight into the wave section. And we had 1 or 2 incidents through there yesterday, as we have had in previous years, and I guess today will be no different. We're getting ready to go down to the start line area. Here's Amy. She's with some riders.
It's round 10. We're at the Kegums circuit. This is the GP of Latvia. We're going to have a word with MX2, Joel Roulance. Joel, you looked good in qualifying yesterday. You're feeling good for a top 3 this weekend?
I don't know, we will see. I hope to get a good start because it's a little bit wet out there, so and then we will see.
How is the track feeling this morning?
This morning was quite bad. I didn't expect it to be so bad, so I think it was raining a lot. It was quite wet, so now it's getting better, so we'll see.
Thanks, Joel. We'll wish you a good race. We're going to move down the start line. We're obviously missing both of the Rockstar Energy Suzuki boys this year, this week rather. We're going to move down and have a word with Dylan Ferrandis. Dylan, we obviously saw him 2 weekends ago taking his first GP podium ever. You look pretty happy on that podium.
Yes, for sure. 2 weeks ago was so good for me. I did my first podium. Today is more difficult. The track is really difficult. I'm not really good on this track, and I don't have a good feeling, but I will try to do my best. Yesterday I crashed in the first corner for the qualifying race and finished 14, it's not too bad. Today I will try to do my best and I hope top 7 can be good.
Thanks, Dylan. Have a great race. Before we see the MX2 Moto 1, we're going to take a look behind the scenes of the Riga Motocross team.
Yes.
Joining me in the Riga Motocross team, Alexandra, the team manager. Tell me about your riders.
Welcome to our team. We have 2 MX2 riders, Davis Ivanovs and Vyacheslav Golovkin, and 1 MX1 rider, Michael Tucker from America. Before it was Ivo Steinbergs, but he's injured already for 2 months. Hope it's gonna be better.
Ivo, we're used to seeing you ride in the MX1 class, but your championship came to an abrupt halt this year.
Yeah, it happened in Fermo. I crashed and quite big injury, broke my ankle and dislocated, and I need to miss all the season. But I'm happy to be in Kegums with the team, and I will be on the side with all the riders and watch. Still, I'm happy, I think.
And do we know when we can expect to see you back?
I hope to come back for October 13, Tunnel Levs race, I think. October 13, I want to race the charity race in Estonia. I think that's my plan.
Michael, you joined the World Championship in Portugal, but it's not your first experience over here in Europe.
No, last year I came over for a few rounds and then went back home. And yeah, I started at Portugal and things have been going good so far. Trying to finish every moto healthy and safe. So so far so good. The team's been great and everybody's been real helpful and really appreciate it.
And how different is the riding over here in Europe compared to back home in the USA?
The tracks and stuff are a lot different. More high speed here than back home. And I think it's tougher over here as far as outdoors goes. The tracks get a lot rougher, and these guys are competitive, and they don't get tired, and it's really good. I think it's real cool.
Davis, home GP this weekend. You took a good result 2 weeks ago in Sweden. You must be feeling now pretty confident coming into this weekend.
Yes, that was my best result this year. I also took points in France and Valkenswaard, and I hope to take a good result this weekend also.
This season I'm riding from the first round. This is my first full season, and the preparing for the season was hard. Yeah, I'm training very hard in winter, and yeah, I like this team. I like riding on GPs, and from the last year I start riding just from the half. I'm really excited for my home Grand Prix. I'm really happy. It's good for my sponsors, Ladega Industrial Group and Yacht Holding Groups. And yeah, in Russia it was a really long time without GPs.
It's not often we see a female team manager. How is it being a female in such a male-dominated sport?
It's not easy to be a lady around all the men, but I'm trying to manage everything and I'm the boss.
So, quick look behind the scenes. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek there on the Red Bull KTM, qualified yesterday as our pole winner after his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings, who led for 7 laps and was already 5 seconds clear after lap number 1. He suffered a bit of a tyre problem. The mousse came off the rim and that was it. It left him down in 28th position. So Joel Rouland eventually came home in 2nd. Tommy Searle was 3rd. Jake Nichols 4th, ahead of Jordi Tixier, Jose Boutron and Arnold Tonas. Max Anstey came from 14th position, and he found his way up to 8th come the checkered flag, and then it was Glenn Coldenhoff and Alexander Tonkov with Roman Febvre just behind them. Zach Osborne went down on the first turn, and he came back from dead last, and I mean a long way back, to pick himself up to 16th on what was a very, very fast circuit. But conditions a lot different now than what they were yesterday, a lot wetter, a lot softer. And one of the guys who experienced these conditions a little earlier on, Mike Crass. Mike Crass, just quickly, you were out there earlier in the European MX2 race. You had 2/3. The second race was pretty difficult. What are the MX2 guys going to expect in this first moto?
It's going to be completely different than yesterday, because the track was perfect yesterday, and today, yeah, it is so wet and so much muddy, and they're completely different.
Okay, well, the Monster Energy 15-second board goes up, and we're getting ready to go racing here as the 5-second board turns, the head goes down. We've got a bright spell here with sunshine. Tommy Searle tries to go. Joel Rouland thought about it, and he got caught out there. Jeffrey Hurlings is going to be coming right from the outside line there. He keeps it up on 2 wheels, but he gets pushed wide. So Jeffrey Hurlings then, he's got a lot of work to do already, as Tommy Searle, who just gets nudged aside there by, was that Jake Nichols? I think it might have been, going up into 2nd position. We've got Boutron leading, Nichols, I think, 2nd, or Van Hoorbeek, I think. Then Tommy Searle, then Jake Nichols there in 4th. Rouland's around the outside in 5th on a circuit that, as we said, is a little bit sloppy, a little bit greasy, hard underneath, soft patches out there, some square edge bumps as well. So these MX2 guys, they've had a exciting lap already, but in race terms, when they're going to be attacking it at full speed, it's going to be a little bit different to what they just had a moment ago. Mike Kress, how do you see this race turning out? Because Jeffrey Hurlings was clearly the fastest rider in MX2 yesterday. We're not sure exactly where he is, down in 16th at the first split, but some people saying yesterday maybe within a couple of laps he can get to the top 10 and even win both races today. What do you think?
I think it's going to be difficult because they made, as you can see here, they made the inside line and outside line. And this morning the inside line was completely wet, so all the riders use one line. And if they're going to use two lines now, then I think he has a good chance to pass many riders. But if it's like one line, then it's so hard to pass there at the moment.
Because not all the lines like this around the outside is going to be pretty soft,
Yes.
but the inside is going to be. So it's going to take some time, is what you're saying, for the circuit to dry out.
Yes, I need some time to find two lines in the corners, and then if he can pass riders, then I think he's going to go for the win.
Okay, over the line for the first time then. Jose Boutron has a narrow advantage over Jeremy Van Hoorbeek there, number 89 on that orange KTM. Then it's Tommy Searle, the number 100. Jake Nichols 4. Arnold Tonus, number 7 is 5. Then Roulants, Tixier, Roman Febvre, who had a good ride yesterday. Tommy Searle going a little bit wide. It looks like they've just worked that corner freshly before this race. Tixier 7, Febvre 8. Getterman's 9 is in 9th place. Alessandro Lupino, Coldenhoff Larsen, Hurlings in 13th position, having just passed Dylan Ferrandis on the Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. There's Arnold Tonus in 5th place. There's
also one more change they made. Yesterday they used the inside gate, and now normally they take 1 or 2, and now they take almost 3 or 4 gates from the inside.
Van Hoorbeek goes to the lead. He got good drive through that left-hand turn, but yeah, I know what you're saying. They blocked off either end of the gate. The inside one was kept free, but yeah, Tommy Searle going there this time around in the qualifying race. The inside line is a best position, isn't it? You started there, I think, yourself, but you didn't make a good jump, did you, in your main race this afternoon, as Boutron looks to switch it up, and he does. He makes a mistake and keeps it on 2 wheels and takes Van Hoorbeek by surprise in that right-hand turn. So Jose Boutron really not laying down. Oh, Tommy Searle, that Kawasaki is smoking, and that looks like it's going to be curtains for Tommy's Kawasaki, because depending on what that is, it's got 40 minutes to go, and I don't think that's going to last, do you?
No, I think he's going to quit.
Oh, that's going to be a shame for Tommy. He's already looking down. He already knows there's a problem. And that is smoking. And Tommy Searle, who had a 16-point deficit to Jeffrey Hurlings, who was probably rubbing his hands together after the qualifying race yesterday, where Hurlings came home in 28th position, thinking this is a good shot to try and get some distance in him in the early stages of the race, and also get some points on the board to bring that gap down. Suddenly that thing in the last half a lap has just gone bang, and well, it doesn't look good for Tommy Searle and Kawasaki at the moment. Of course, fingers crossed that it does, but he's going to be losing power, he's going to be losing all kinds of things, and maybe confidence as well if he realises that it's smoking. In fact, there he goes, he's pulled over, the bike's given up, and Tommy Searle, he's going to be heartbroken. He can't believe it. Tommy Searle goes out of Moto number 1. Jeffrey Hurlings goes through in, where was it? In 10th position. He's now going to be 9th, and well, that's going to be a massive blow and a turn in the championship in the favour of Jeffrey Hurlings. Mike Kress, the Burstford Suzuki rider from European MX2, what do you think to that?
I think it's going to give him a big confidence boost, that he knows that he needs to take as much points as he can, and I think he's already up to 9th, so it's going to be I think it's going to be to the top soon.
So Tommy Searle then goes out of Moto number 1 in well, dramatic fashion, as Jose Boutron continues to lead here on the Diga Racing KTM. He's got Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, the leading Red Bull KTM, behind him. Tommy Searle out of 3rd. Jake Nichols, the Nissan GM Racing KTM, then in 4th place ahead of the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki of Joel Roulants. Monster Energy Yamaha of Arnold Tonus is 6th, and then it's Tixier Febvre as Van Hoorbeek goes back up the inside, but albeit only briefly, as Boutron really putting on a fight here, the Spaniard. But Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, probably the more relaxed in these conditions of the 2 riders, wouldn't you say, Mike Kress?
Yes, he looked good yesterday, so he's riding really relaxed.
To the inside, and then decides not to go for the tight line, forces the issue, goes to the outside, and this time he makes the pass stick. But Jose Boutron, we saw him earlier, as Van Hoorbeek struggling with goggles there, might get himself caught out again here.
One thing I noticed is that on the TV the track looks really soft, and
oh, he goes down big time. Well, the problem with the goggles from Van Hoorbeek is he came down over the hill. He took too long to clear whatever it was, and that allowed Boutron to get right back in there. And Boutron squared off. He was on the left side. He took the front wheel from Van Hoorbeek. Van Hoorbeek goes down, and Boutron leads yet again. Hurling's now up to 7th as he comes over the line. So maybe we'll see a replay of that in a moment between Boutron and Van Hoorbeek, but an aggressive pass there from Jose Boutron.
I think, what I said 2 minutes ago, the track looked really soft on the TV, but when I was out this morning, it was really hard packed, and the kickers were so hard, and you need to grab the handlebar really tight, because one mistake and then your handlebar is out of your hands.
We just saw Jose Boutron as he came down the hill a moment ago. He landed and then just caught some soft stuff as well. So
yes.
Hard and soft in places. And the riders really having to concentrate here. But I'm sure we'll pick up Jeffrey Hurlings anytime soon. He's just behind Arnold Tonus. Here we go, look, he just squared off the turn. Van Hoorbeek didn't want to yield, and then he had to go wide. And that's the problem when you create artificial lines like this, isn't it? You know, there's nowhere for the rider to go. And as a consequence, Van Hoorbeek has gone down. So,
especially when the outside is really soft, they're all going to go to the inside, and then there's no room to pass.
What about Joel Roulance? He was pretty quick yesterday. He could be the dark horse here, couldn't he?
Yes, because yesterday Joel was the only rider who did, they're going to go to the wave here, and he was the only rider who did the 2-2-2 and then again 2 to the top. As you can see now, they're all hitting the other one, you know. And he was the only rider who did it like perfect every lap. So.
With Van Hoorbeek going out, Jake Nichols has suddenly found himself in 2nd position, and he now is pushing all over the rear end of the number 17, Jose Boutron. He'll be mindful of what just went on a lap ago when Boutron retook the lead just through this turn, but he'll want to go after it as well because he's in his best position at the moment. Is Jake Nichols. Previous best has been 4th, and he'll be looking to improve on that.
As you look at the bikes, you can see then when they hit the kicker, you can see the bike just kicking up, and the lines are just going to get deeper and deeper, and more kickers going to come up.
Been a lot of talk. Mike Crash, there's Tommy Searle walking back. He's very, very disappointed with that. I'm sure he's probably only spoken to the team, and that'll be it. No journalists allowed, I would think, but certainly that's going to hand the advantage to Jeffrey Hurlings, who now finds himself in 5th position, just a couple seconds behind his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who, talking to 1 or 2 people in the paddock yesterday and in pit lane, would love to see Van Hoorbeek actually take the challenge to his teammate every once in a while. They seem that they've been a little bit critical of Van Hoorbeek, that he hasn't. Oh, he almost goes down in the background as well, and I think that would just allow Hurlings to go through. But the point I'm making, Mike Crass, is that because those two are good friends and Hurlings is clearly the team leader in that, it's almost as if, you know, people are starting to say that Van Hoorbeek has let Jeffrey go by just a little bit too easy in some occasions, you know. Would you agree with that or not?
I think he's not going to take the risk to take Jeffrey out, but I think for KTM it doesn't matter who takes the victory as long as KTM is on top step for them.
Well, there's the first 3, Boutron, Nichols and Roulance. Jeffrey Hurlings will be coming into view. He's only about 6 or 7 seconds behind Joel Roulance, in fact going there in the opposite direction, but we saw Van Hoorbeek make that mistake just coming out of the final corner as they went back through the first wave section off the back of the camera shot that we had, as Nichols just gets caught in a deep rut there through that wave section. Going to go to the inside here though, Jake Nichols, as Boutron leaves the door open, but the inside tightens up quite significantly there, doesn't it? Last minute, Mike.
Yes, they also made the middle, how do you call them? The rods, the machine rods, but they made it like really low, so you can jump over it. But now, as you see, even all by crash, they made it really high, so you can't go to the other side.
So we've had 4 laps complete. Jeffrey Hurlings, fastest man on track at the moment, 2 minutes and 0.121 compared to the fastest personal lap of Jose Boutron at 2:01.1, so 1 second quicker than the guys ahead of him. Van Hoorbeek still in that 4th position, but look at that, about 1.5 seconds in it, or 1.3 seconds between Van Hoorbeek and Hurlings. But 25 minutes to go. Boutron leads from Nichols. Jeffrey Hurlings looks to have found a way past Jeremy Van Hoorbeek that time around. So Van Hoorbeek now being dropped down to 5th. There's Tixier just behind him. So the 3 Rebel KTMs of Hurlings, Van Hoorbeek and Tixier now 4th, 5th and 6th position.
Also the other Hollander, Glenn Colnott, has a really good race. I hope he can stay on the bike and finish in the top side.
Yeah, he's in 7th place at the moment. Roman Febvre, European champion from last year, he's in 8th. Tonus 9, Lupino, the Ritchie Racing Factory Husqvarna rider, is in 10th place, ahead of Jens Getterman, Dylan Ferrandis, Zach Osborne, who won the 2004 FIM Junior World Championship here when he was an 85 rider. I think he was about 14 then. And then Max Anstey, the Garibaldi Honda Esther rider, just ahead of his teammate Alexander Tonkov. And then Valentin Guillot, Nick Larson, Christophe Charlier, Prit Ratsep and Davis Ivanovs, the Riga Racing Kawasaki rider. But getting a bit closer between 2nd and 3rd, Jake Nichols and Joel Roulants, as Boutron, he's weathered the storm a little bit. He's now looks a little bit settled and relaxed and looking to put some distance between him and the guys behind him. What do you think, Mike Krass?
I've never seen him do the complete 40 minutes, so I think it's going to be hard for him to stay on the top. And especially when Jeffrey is going to come, then he's going to do the 40 minutes flat out.
And also, we don't know what the weather conditions are going to do. They said today is the highest chance of prolonged rain throughout the course of the day. We had a rain shower a little earlier on during the warm-up session. So far, it stayed drier, but it's getting windy out there, and normally with the wind can come the rain as well. So there's the board going out to Hurlings as he goes flying past pit lane, and he's 7 seconds down on our race leader, Jose Boutron. So again, lapping 2:01, so still a second quicker than the 3 guys ahead of him, who are all on 2:02s. Boutron there, 17, Jake Nichols, a 45, and the number 34, Joel Roulants. They saw a flash of Jeffrey Hurlings in the background. So Jeffrey Hurlings, as you said, Mike Krass, when Tommy Searle went out, maybe he can just relax a little bit. He knows he's already got a points advantage, because wherever he finishes, that's going to go to more. Oh, Osborne out from 13th place. So yeah, Hurlings, he can just relax a little bit more now. He doesn't have to push and waste too much energy in trying to close down Tommy Searle, who is out of the race on lap 2.
He can take his time to choose a line to pass really safe without crashing. One thing I noticed is that we raced like 1 hour before this, and we saw really much water on the track. Every line was like, yeah, it's like a leg, so much water. Now it's like, it's muddy, but it's not wet anymore.
Well, it looks, the camera can be deceiving. It looks pretty good, but obviously it's still going to be quite soft in those places, isn't it? But it's going to be good, though, if the rain stays off.
Yes, they did a lot of work for this race, and it looked better than it was this morning.
Nick Nichols looks to have just picked up the pace again. But Joel Roulants, I'm surprised it's taken him so long. I mean, not taking anything away from Jake Nichols or Jose Boutron, but from the way that Roulants was riding yesterday. Yeah, and he's got the good drive there. He's on the right side now, coming down the hill. Nichols has closed up on the rear wheel of Jose Boutron, our race leader. Jeffrey Hurlings, who was 7 seconds down the previous lap, but he might just pop into view, I thought, over the finish line jump there, but that gap now, 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds. Wow, look at that for a lap time, 1:58.9. So obliterates everybody else's times. 2:01's the guys ahead of him, who you feel maybe are getting held up behind Boutron now.
Yes, he's going to come here.
So there's Jeffrey Hurlings, our championship leader, the Red Bull KTM factory rider. He started from the 28th gate all the way over to the right-hand side. As we looked at it, the left-hand side going down the start straight, but he managed to get across half of the guys ahead of him. Stayed out of trouble going through that first corner, because that was the risk yesterday, wasn't it? When Hurlings came home in 28th position, or didn't come home as it was, but looking at the start straight, looking at the first corner, how tight it is, how many problems we've had in the pass through there. There's the danger of always getting caught out and going down, isn't there?
Yes, because when you're like in the middle of gate 20 or something, it's so far around, and yeah, the more you go to the front, to the right, the better it is. So he has a really big disadvantage.
So we saw Roulants make a mistake coming out of the final corner a moment ago. That's allowed Hurlings to close right in, and this is going to be a four-way battle for the lead in this first FIM MX2 motocross race here. It's round 10 of the World Championship at Latvia, and we go to Russia in 1 week's time. But Tommy Searle, who started in the position that he wanted to be, was there in second and third position before basically the bike ended up expiring in a big wall of smoke, and that allowed Jeffrey Hurlings off the hook a little bit. The gap was 16 points. Tommy Searle was looking to, and he needed to, close down that gap to the top of the championship leaderboard. And of course, Tommy Searle now out of the race, so he's going to go back. He's going to be disappointed, and that might just be his moment for the World Championship gone. But although you cannot say never, still a lot of races to run. But I was talking to some people over the weekend, and they were asking me, what does Tommy Searle need to do in order to win a championship? And my own personal opinion was that he needed to come away from Matchley Basin having won all the races here and have at least a 6-point lead by the time they arrive in Lierop, as Jake Nichols gets alongside Jose Boutron, but not quite good enough to go by him. And of course, if Tommy Searle did have a 6-point advantage after Matchley Basin, he would have maybe lost those 6 points due to the supremacy as Nichols gets caught out. And look at that, Roulance goes from third to first. Nichols looks to go up the inside and almost tags wheels there, but this is just playing into the hands of Herlings, who's just going to sit and watch this. He's got 19 minutes plus 2 laps to do something about Boutron, who is going to nip up the inside right now in this next right-hand turn. A mistake there from Boutron, easy as you like for Herlings. He goes through into third, but Roulance from nowhere suddenly leads this first race. Mike Kress, that was a bit of fortunate riding there from Joe Roulance, wasn't it? It all started when Jake Nichols and Jose Boutron got into each other.
Yeah, that's the problem with the cat and mouse game. You need to defend, you need to attack. But you can't really defend your line if you're attacking. So, and then when the third guy is right behind you, then yeah, you're going to lose it.
So Joe Roulance then finds himself leading here, partly at the expense of his teammate, but also because Jake Nichols was a little bit eager to find a way past Jose Boutron after putting up with a face full of ruse for the first half of this race. He's recovered well, though. He's back into second position, and he's all over the back of Joel Roulance. I think Jake Nichols believes he can still win this, but he's got Jeffrey Herlings behind him, who some say is the fastest sand rider in the world. Here's that moment, look. Jake Nichols just getting ran wide there. Boutron tried to force the issue. Roulance was best placed there. Sometimes they say, though, Mike Kress, it's easier to follow than to lead. Yes. And that was a classic example.
Yes. You know, it's also a big shame. Yes, the track was perfect, the weather was perfect, and the jumps are so nice. You can scrub, you can whip a little bit and play with the bike, and now it's just you need to focus and stay and keep the bike straight, that you don't hit the kick or something. That's a shame.
Yeah, well, that was always the concern, wasn't it? If the rain continued to fall here, the jumps would take a bit of a battering. But someone like Jeffrey Herlings, who's used to riding in wet, sandy conditions in Holland and Belgium all of the time, wouldn't be a problem for him as he runs alongside Jake Nichols. Nichols goes to the inside, a little bit deep through there. Herlings gets good drive. Doesn't quite get alongside him, though, but jumps long. Looking for different lines all the time. He's going to wheelie there. There's no big kicker on the takeoff of the jump there either. But doing his best, I think, also to stay out of the roost from Jake Nichols, almost off the back of the bike there, Nichols.
I think he's just checking out where he's fast and where he loses time. So I think there's going to be an attack soon.
Just coming out of that final corner, you see how hard the ground is underneath as well. Very slick. It's not a normal sand track, this, is it, Mike Kress?
No, especially the turn we see now is really hard, and you need to turn up the first whoop. So it's really difficult to find the traction.
There's Tixier, 9-11 going through. He's in 6th position at the moment. And he's got Roman Favre, Glenn Coldenhoff in 8th, Arnold Tonis in 9th. Just breathing down his neck. There's a gap between him and Van Horbeek in 5th place. But this battle here for 2nd position, Jake Nichols and the number 84, Jeffrey Herlings. Herlings a winner here in 2010, took the overall win. So no stranger to winning here, that's for sure. But Joe Roulance, he was 1.5 seconds clear as he came over the line, set his personal fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.4. But a couple of laps before that, it was Herlings, a 1:58.991 when he got into that 4th position. Herlings just lost a little bit of ground there on Jake Nichols through that wave section and up and over that finish line, the step down before the finish line area. But there's your first 3, pretty much in the same shot. Roulance, fastest man on track, 1:58.1, so quite, well, look at that, 0.8 quicker than Herlings' lap from earlier. Nichols sets his fastest lap of the race at 59.9. The gap between Roulance and Nichols, 3.1 seconds. And Jeffrey Herlings will see that, but while Herlings will want to try and win the race, he will also know now that there's no need to win that race with Tommy Searle not being in it.
No, but because the top 3 is so how to say it, the points are more from first to second. You lose so many points, so I think he's going to try to win to take the maximum.
Obviously, you get used to riding with Jeffrey Herlings in the Dutch Championship, Belgian Championship races, that kind of thing. If Herlings doesn't make a whole shot and disappear like he did in the qualifying race yesterday, is he a little bit like Cairoli in these conditions, whereby he'll sit there and then say, okay, I'm happy to be third with about 10 minutes to go, and then just say, right, I'll put in some really quick laps in the end, close down that 4-second gap that he has to Joel Roulant, and then go on to win the race? Or how do you see Jeffrey Herlings finishing this race now?
I think he's going to win, for sure.
Well, Roland's nowhere to be seen. Look, already out of that next left-hander in the opposite direction, as Jeffrey Herlings still tries to figure out a way to find a way past the number 45, Jake Nichols, the rider there in shot, who's having a fantastic ride here. Got to be said, got a good start, stayed out of trouble, and he's doing everything right. But Herlings now looking to capitalize on Jake Nichols. Hasn't been getting through there too cleanly. Covers the inside. Herlings decides to pull the clutch in, lock up the back brake, and do the panic rev just to see if he can catch Nichols off guard. But Nichols, as all you guys are these days, a little bit too cute for those kind of habits to try and force the issue. But that gap between, oh, look at that time, 57.9 for Roulant, now 6 seconds clear. So 13 minutes to go. Here we go down the pit lane.
Dirk, tough qualifying yesterday for Jeffrey. What happened?
Well, he was unlucky being in the lead, and his tire came off halfway through the race. Due to that, he had a really bad starting position today, dead last. But he had a decent start, finishing like 15 in the first lap, and now currently third, making his way up, hopefully for the win.
Thanks, Dirk.
Just looking on the, got a steaming bike here. It looks like Jeffrey Herlings' bike was just smoking a little bit as he came over that jump there, but nowhere near as bad as Tommy Searles just a moment ago. Just see it, just off the back there, just starting to steam up just a little bit. Of course, KTM already had one problem yesterday. Of course, the moves coming off the tyre or tyre-related issue anyway in the qualifying race. Van Horby failed to finish the first race in Sweden last weekend. After seeing Tommy Searle go out, and maybe the mechanics will see what we see, they'll just be keeping a close eye on that, won't they, Mike Krass? But Jens Getterman, you were just pointing out Jens Getterman, the standing construct Suzuki rider, down in 11th, having a good ride.
Best Suzuki so far.
Yeah. Mike Krass joins me here. Mike, obviously riding European Championship this year. You've been running MX2 a couple of years on and off before that, though. Had a great result in La Bañeza in Spain. Purely this year, though, riding European, is that just because the team decided to concentrate on that, or what's the deal there?
No, because of the age limit. I want to stay in the GPs, and also when we're gonna move the age limit again this year, then I'm gonna go back to the GPs. But for now, it was MX1 or European, so we choose the European because my teammate also rides in the same class now. Oh, you see the kicker?
Yeah.
It's so bad on the other track.
Well, Herlings now getting himself wound up. He sees Joel Roulant's 8.8 seconds clear at the moment and pulling away on the Fluid Monster Energy Kawasaki. He's going to go up the inside of Jake Nichols. Nichols is also going to go tight to the inside. Makes a mistake coming out of there, though. Not going to make it easy for Jeffrey Herlings. Here's Jake Nichols. As you can see, Herlings this time trying to go to the inside, but it's not as straightforward as Jeffrey Herlings would have liked, but just landing a little bit deep there, and that's the problem, isn't it? I was watching the warm-up session this morning, and this is the problem when you have the wet sand. The guys are going to land, that wet sand gets pushed back. If you jump short like Jeffrey Herlings did just then, you don't know how deep that ground is and what the reaction's going to be when obviously Herlings then just losing a little bit of time on that jump there on the left-hand side.
Also difficult to see on television, the big kickers in the jumps, and they're going to get bigger and bigger, and you need to move line because sometimes the kicker is so big that it's really dangerous to jump.
Yeah, just basically that's where the guys are getting on the gas at the last minute, and it just creates a little hook, doesn't it? One minute it can be fine, next minute that's the difference between staying on or going over the handlebars. But Jake Nichols backwards and forwards with Jeffrey Herlings at the moment. Roulant's nowhere to be seen, almost 10 seconds clear in the opposite direction, 157.8 last time around. That's two of those in succession. Jake Nichols and Jeffrey Hurlings, who are second and third at the moment, 2 minutes 6:18 and 2 minutes 6:21. So Nichols marginally closer than Hurlings, who's got better drive through there. Again, he's just holding a slightly tighter line through there. And you feel that if he does get through, it's going to be on that part of the track, possibly for Jeffrey Hurlings. Although, looking good here again, but this was one of those wet areas on the track, wasn't it? There was only one line through there on the European race earlier. But the track has opened up, but Jeffrey Hurlings just had to back off then because he didn't want to go over the berm because he knows it's going to be deep through there. Gets good drive, though. The factory KTM of 2012 against the 2011 factory engine of Ken Roxon that is in the bike of the Nastan riding Jake Nichols there, number 45, who's doing everything he can with 9 minutes to go to cling on to that second position, which would be a career best, even if he finishes in third.
That's the problem with the mud race. They only get one line with the good traction, and if you go outside of that line, then you're going to lose time.
But sunnier spells around this track at the moment. We were promised rain pretty much all day, but hopefully we won't experience any more, because that will turn what is a fast improving circuit into a bit of a quagmire. Roulant's now 9.8 seconds clear of this battle for second, with the 45 Jake Nichols, the Nastan GM Racing KTM rider, and the Red Bull KTM number 84 there. Stefan Everts looks on. He'll be a little bit more relaxed now, knowing that the Kawasaki of Tommy Searle has gone out of the race. But what have we got? 8 minutes 18 on the clock, plus 2 laps. It's Roulants, Nichols and Hurlings. Van Hoorbeek is fourth, Boutron is fifth.
I think Jeffrey needs to watch out with the pantographs because his bike's going to smoke.
Yeah, well, that's been smoking now for a couple of laps. But as I say, it's only smoking just a little bit. KTM will be keeping a very nervous eye on that. And I think this is also because of the roost that he's been taking from the riders. So the radiators are all blocking up there. Well, wouldn't that be a turn-up if the championship contender and the championship leader both go out for similar reasons? Of course, 7:45, I can't see that happening to Hurling's machine. This is where he got close last time around. Just holding a tighter line through there. This time he goes to the outside. He's going to try and get the drive around there. But that wave section might crash. Not an easy part of the track, is it? Especially as you're trying to turn through that left-hand corner.
Yeah, because in television you don't see the speed you have into the waves, and also you need to make the left-hand corner. And that's really difficult with the lines and the kickers. And
Jake Nichols, a mistake! Oh, he goes wide! And he'll be kicking himself for that. So Jake Nichols then hands second place to Jeffrey Hurlings. Just got on the gas, overshot the berm, got into the deep stuff, and almost went over the handlebars there. Such was how deep the ground through there. But Hurlings now, he won't care. He's in second position. It's a Red Bull 1-2. He's the leading Red Bull KTM rider, as he also gets buried deep in that right-hand turn there. But he's 10.9 seconds clear of Joel Roulants. Is Joel Roulants. Jake Nichols, though, setting his fastest lap of the race then, but just making that mistake coming out of that left turn onto pit lane. I wonder if he'll go back after Hurlings, or if Hurlings now has that clear track that he needs. Just watch this. Jake, he wanted to go inside, and then he goes high and wide here, gets on the gas, the front climbs up. He almost saved it, but look how high he was offline. Just shakes his head, takes a quick look back. Hurlings has already gone through, and this is Hurlings just after that, just going a little bit too deep. Didn't look too bad from that angle. But that's the nature of sand as well, isn't it, Mike Press? You know, the track then just changing. That line just got a little bit tighter for Jeffrey Hurlings through that right-hander.
yes, you need to turn before in the berm.
Well, there's Joel Roulants with 6 minutes to go. He's 11 seconds clear. Joel Roulants just showing us how to go through that wave section. Double, double, double pretty much through there, carrying more speed, more momentum than Nichols and Hurlings, who up until a moment ago were second and third. Of course, Hurlings now taking over that. Van Hoorbeek still fourth. This is a battle for fifth position. The number 17 Diga Racing KTM of Jose Boutron, who finished on the podium, if you recall. Third overall in Brazil. And well, he's putting himself in a good position here at the moment. Boutron in fifth in this first race. Tixier, though, breathing down his neck, the 911. Second rider in shot. Then it's Romain Febvre, who looked good in qualifying yesterday. And Romain Febvre looking good here as well in seventh position. That would be his best race result as well. Eighth in Portugal in the second moto was Romain Febvre. Glenn Coldenhoff He'll be in 8th place. Tonus 9. Anstey up into 10th place ahead of his teammate Alexander Tonkov. Lupino now down to 12. Dylan Ferrandis hasn't made the progress I thought he would make in 13th. And Jens Getterman, he's dropped down to 14th ahead of Prix Ratsep, who pulls himself up to 15th, the double moto winner in the European Championship here last year. Yellow flags there ahead of these guys. It's not any of our contenders. 141 Chervelin, yeah. Then we've got Larsen, Lieber, Ivanovs, and, well, Chervelin was in 20th position. That was him on the TM just a moment ago, trying to start that machine up. But 4.5 minutes to go. Mike Krass, Bertelsmann Suzuki rider from the European Championship class. I spoke to you Friday and yesterday. You seemed pretty confident that you were going to get on the podium this weekend, and true to your word, 2 third-place finishes, 3rd overall. You must have been pretty pleased with that.
Yes, I was in the end, but...
Tixier goes through on Boutron, who did try to put the squeeze on him, so Tixier up now into 5th place. So, yeah, sorry, Mike Krass, 3rd overall. Actually, I mentioned the fact that you weren't smiling too much on the podium then, so 3rd is great, but I guess you felt that you could have gone better then.
Yes, because Saturday I was behind the leader, Mel Pocock, and I was just following him easy, and I thought I was going to pass him for the lead, but then I got, how do you say, arm pump.
Okay.
And I lost the 2nd place, so that was a big bummer for me because I was hoping for the 2nd place. And yeah, this morning I went from 8th to 3rd, and then I think I was going to attack the 2nd place, but it didn't happen. So 2 times 3rd is okay, but.
All right, and obviously we go to Russia next weekend. The rain's starting to fall here in the closing stages of this first FIM MX2 Grand Prix race, the Latvian Grand Prix, round 10 of the World Championship season. And yeah, Arnold Tonus there, Monster Energy Yamaha down in 9th place at the moment, trying to find a way past Glenn Coldenhoff, who that's just him ahead of us there in that left-hand turn.
If I was Nichols, then I would be really nervous right now because he went from 9 seconds to Van Horenbeek to now it's like 6 seconds. So he has like,
yeah, lost a lot of time.
4 laps to go.
Something like that it will be. So obviously Nichols will try desperately to get 3rd. Haven't seen his old man knocking around this weekend, guys. Nichols, I'm guessing he's at home. I've seen his buddy though, Mr. Cottrell. He's bombing around somewhere, but Guy Nichols, sorry, and the family probably at home this weekend watching on the box, so they'll be sat there, fingers crossed, I'm sure, but doing a great job in 3rd, doing a fantastic job of hanging onto that 2nd as well until that mistake a lap or so ago. And, well, Joe Roulon, so we're getting ready to go down to pit lane as well to go speak to the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad, and I guess partly it'll be to talk about Roulons, the current race leader, 12.8 seconds clear, and also maybe find out what the problem was with Tommy Searle, although we could see it was a problem on the bike. Here's Amy, let's hear who she has with her.
JJ, I spoke to Joel earlier on the pre-grid and asked him, was he feeling good for a top 3? He's looking even better. He's looking good for a race win.
Yes, he's very good. I'm very happy because in this way we take points for the World Championship in Kawasaki brand, and I hope I'm up AOC because for Tommy it's better if Joel wins than Jeffrey.
Thanks, JJ.
Yeah, Joel Roulons would be looking to win the first race here in Latvia, but it wouldn't be his first race win. Remember, he won the first moto, round 2, Sevlievo, Bulgaria. That was his first ever race victory, so he'll be looking to double up on that. Joel Roulons needs a race win as well because, of course, he was showing good form until that big crash in Fermo, round 3. And you can just see the onboard images here, how choppy, how rutty it is through that wave section. And of course, TV images don't really give you the true story. You can see that the circuit gets a little bit chewed up. You can see from the way that the bikes behave and how they get chopped around that the circuit is very bumpy. But until you actually get out there and walk on that track, this next left-hander, Mike Krass, an example of that, the big kicker there that the riders are doing their best to go to the inside of. When you hit something like that, you're already slowing down, you're already on the brakes, and the front end is already compressed, and it just makes it worse, doesn't it? It gives it more of a reaction at the back end.
Yes, if it goes straight, then it's no problem, but sometimes you expect it to go left, and then the back end goes right, and then you have a problem, because if you don't have the control anymore, then...
Yeah, here's that battle for 3rd place. Jake Nichols has been caught, as you pointed out from the timing screen a moment ago. Mike Krass, Jake Nichols now coming under threat with that third place. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek has found a way to close him down. So the lap times last time around, Jake Nichols a 2:01.6. It was a 59.0 for Van Hoorbeek. So you can see the gap on the screen at the moment. So either a case of Jake Nichols just maybe switching off a little bit, maybe making a couple of mistakes, or, you know, we don't know, do we? But
this is going to be a 2-lap sprint to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be, yeah, dash for the cash, if you like. But Van Hoorbeek, he won't hang around. He'll want to try and get through as quickly as he can, and he's on the right line here, looking to find a way past. And we saw Hurlings was quicker through this wave section than Jake Nichols previously. Jake getting through there nice, and then it starts to slow down. Then he relies on the outside line to turn, but he's going to switch it to the inside. Van Hoorbeek goes around the outside thinking he can slingshot his way and get the distance. Hits a hook on the top of the jump, almost sort of the bike being thrown sideways there. But it's going to be 3 laps to go for these guys because time has just ticked down. It's going to be, oh, it is 2 laps to go now, sorry. So 2 to go then. Roulants 14 seconds clear of Hurlings. This is the battle for third place. Van Hoorbeek, the second rider in shot, has found a way onto the rear wheel of the Nissan GM Racing KTM of Jake Nichols, who will be feeling the heat yet again from another Red Bull KTM rider. These guys are quite a bit ahead, 14 seconds ahead of Jordi Tixier and Jose Boutron just 4 seconds further back. Roman Febvre on course for his best result of the year, career best in MX2, then Glenn Koldenhoff, Tonas and Tomkov now. So we've lost Anstey being dropped down to 14th position in the last couple of laps or so. Zach Osborne up into 20th, so Osborne was one of those guys that went down early on in the race. Oh, another mistake there for Nichols. But we just highlight there, don't we, how slick it is coming out of that corner. The back end wants to come out, and then you hit the soft stuff. And Jake Nichols almost off the bike there just a moment ago. But he will know he's got a battle on here. He's going to have to work extremely hard because, A, the Red Bull KTMs are not slow machines, and Van Hoorbeek, one of the strongest guys out there, he's going to want to push at all costs here, isn't he, Mike Krass?
Yes, especially lose it the last lap is really hard. Do the 40 minutes in the podium.
Oh, almost thought going up the inside, just didn't get the power down. Nice there though, Van Hoorbeek looking to go wide and square off. He did that last time around, really trying to innovate here and use different lines is Van Hoorbeek. Just over a lap to go for Jake Nichols. He wants to hang on to that third place. And it'd be great for him as well because he's one of the guys who's been making all the progress this year. But look at that, alongside him, there's Van Hoorbeek, and Van Hoorbeek does go through. So just losing out then with a lap to go, Jake Nichols. Will he have anything left in the locker to respond to Van Hoorbeek? He needs to stay close. The track certainly lends itself to riders making little mistakes. That's where Nichols made his own mistake, that left-hander that allowed Hurlings to go through into second position. One rider who's made few mistakes though, Joe Roulants, 15 seconds clear of Jeffrey Hurlings, on course for taking his second FIM MX2 motocross race win. Here he is on the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit, Kawasaki.
This is the most tricky spot from the circuit because you have the waves going the other way and then turn and again the waves, and it's really chopped out like you said, and many kickers, and you need to watch out that you hit it at the right time.
Yeah, I was watching the MX1 qualifying race from there yesterday afternoon, and the first 2 were fine because you could just get the double, but then the third one, the face, is where it really started to rut out, and then the guys then were having a single through there because the lines were so deep, and everybody's going to the right side there as well. Like you say, you're coming out, you're trying to carry the momentum out of that left-hander onto that first wave coming out of the first corner, but also the last corner. Once you get those first 2, just depends on how you get there. Sometimes the riders were rolling through them, trying to pick their wheel through them, but it was a very, very difficult part of the circuit, as you just pointed out.
Especially when the stones are going to come up, then they're going to hit the stone, and when the stone disappears, you have the big kicker.
Well, Joe Roulants, a walk in the park for him then in this first moto, once he got past Jose Boutron and Jake Nichols. And he's going to come through here, Joe Roulants. The penultimate corner, because we have the soft right, no big leaps for him coming down the hill. This is your final corner here. Joe Roulants, the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, takes victory here in Moto number 1 and takes his second career race win. And he's going to be pumped with that because Jeffrey Hurlings comes home just here. Well, he's already over the line in second. That's Van Hoorbeek coming through now. just behind his teammate Hurlings, and then Jake Nichols. He'll be disappointed that he hung it out there for so long in second position. Challenged for the lead as well with Boutron. That's what allowed Roulants to go through. But a great win here for Joe Roulants. And wow, he's on course for potentially taking an overall victory here. But of course, Jeffrey Hurlings, we saw how far he came back from. Jean-Jacques Lassetti gives him a big hug. And Joe Roulants will think that he's back now, and rightly so. Mike Krass, a great first MX2 race. What are your feelings on how the race panned out?
We did only a 15-lap race, and now I see that the MX2 guys did a 19-lap race, so they had to go like 4 laps more than we did. And it's really physical track, and with the big kick, it's also really physical for your mind.
Tonkov off. Yeah.
Last section.
Yeah, 11th he was, and keeps 11th as well. So yeah, so continue. Sorry about that. I was just distracted there with the Tonkov issue. So then, Joe Roulants, a winner here. Moto number 1, Latvia. 12 seconds clear in the end of Jeffrey Hurlings and Van Horbeek. And Tommy Searle, a non-finisher here, going out as early as lap 2 or 3. But Jose Boutron, he had a great ride in the first part of the race. He led for a number of laps, made it difficult for Tommy Searle, for Jake Nichols especially, and Jeremy Van Horbeek, who was on the receiving end of a Jose Boutron attack. Kevin Force.
I think they need to show more from the helmet cam, because then you can see what the track is like. And when you see it like this, then yeah, you don't see the kickers, you don't see the lines. It's really difficult to see how heavy the track is.
Yeah. So predictions for race 2 then, Mike Krass. Better start for Jeffrey Hurlings needed. Tommy Searle obviously has no track information now with conditions as they are. It's going to be an interesting race, I think.
I hope the sun is going to come out, and then when the track is really dry, we have a really beautiful track here. And also for the fans now, when it's raining, they can't see really how nice the track is.
Nice celebration, knack there for Joe Roulants, taking the first race win here, his second career victory, and getting ready to give you the official classification. Official confirmation then, Joe Roulants wins it from Jeffrey Hurlings, Jeremy Van Horbeek third, Jake Nichols almost on the podium, but having to settle for 4th, ahead of Jordi Tixier, Jose Boutron, Roman Fevre and Glenn Coldenhoff. Then it was Arnold Turnus and Dylan Ferrandis, with Alex Tonkov still managing to hang on to 11th despite that mishap on the last lap. Then Lupino, Getterman, Anstey, Ratsep, Larson, Julian Lieber, Zach Osborne, 18th in the end for him. Davis Ivanovs and Valentin Guillot. No points for the rest, 21st onwards. Charlier, notably, but more so, Tommy Searle. Well, Jeffrey Hurlings will continue to lead the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship, and he will extend his lead as well. He will go another 22 points clear of Tommy Searle, who didn't finish that first race. As a result, Van Horbeek will also close some ground on Searle, then Roulants, Tixier. No, not much change through there. Jake Nichols, though, he would have maybe, well, it was, didn't quite see there, but Tixier, I think, was still in 5th, Nichols still in 6th. Mel Pocock, 17th in the championship, ridden a few wildcard rides. Mike Krass, are you surprised at the performance of Mel Pocock this year in the European Championship? 4 race wins out of 4?
No, but I was really surprised that he stayed in the European, because when you go in the top side, top 10 in the GPs, then you're not a slow rider, are you?
And you're looking forward to going to Russia in a week's time?
Yes, never been there, and nobody else, so it's really I'm really interested what track it is.
Okay. Me too.
I hope so.
Here's our race winner. Here's Joel Roulance.
Joel, I spoke to you before the race and asked you, were you feeling good for a top 3? A race win's a pretty good start.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. In the beginning I rode easy and I was watching a little bit because the guys in front of me were fighting, and then yeah, they were fighting and I take 2 guys in one time and I was in the lead. Then I ride my own pace, try to control a little bit, and it worked out, so I'm really happy.
Well done.
Yeah, good ride for Joel Roulance. He sat there, he was patient, and we said as well, myself and Mike Krass, who joined me through this MX2 broadcast, that he could be the dark horse, and he bided his time perfectly. And in the end, as Jake Nichols and Jose Boutron fought over 25 points, Roulance caught them both off guard and passed 2 in 1, and that was a great day for him, a great move as well, and he extended his lead to 14 seconds in the end, ahead of the hard-charging Jeffrey Hurlings, who could have relaxed a little bit, and that's probably what he did after seeing Tommy Searle go out at the end of the first lap. So Roulance, a 2-time winner now this year in terms of moto wins. He'll be looking to do it again in the second race. We're getting ready to speak to Jeffrey Hurlings. He finished second in race 1. Here he is with Amy.
Jeffrey, tough time in qualification race yesterday, and you had to come all the way through the pack, but you made a good job of it.
Yeah, I still managed to finish second. I had a bad start because I was dead last on the gate, 30th, so I was away on the outside. But still, I managed to come in third really quick, but I had some problems to pass Jake. He was riding a great race, and I couldn't get past him. But by the time I got past him, Joel had such a big lead, and I couldn't even match his pace, even if I was straight a second, I think. So great race for him, and took 22 points on Tommy. Unfortunately, he had a DNF, and it's the worst thing what can happen in a championship. So looking forward to second moto. Hope to come out a little bit better with the start, and hope to win that moto.
We'll see you second race.
Yeah, and the interesting thing there, a good compliment actually to Joel Roulance, saying that his pace was fast, even if he was in second position. Probably didn't think he could match the pace of Roulance, so it'll be interesting then to see how that one turns out. But also he said, Tommy, a DNF, pulling back 22 points on him, and that's Tommy Searle's second DNF of the season. Remember Fermo, race 1, when he got up to 8th, and that bike expired after bike damage from a turn 2 crash. So that might be it for Tommy Searle, but still, as we've said before, a long way to go, a lot of laps to run as well, and anything can happen during the course of the season, but not a good way to start the Latvian Grand Prix for the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider. Third was Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, put on a good challenge towards the end of the race, caught out Jake Nichols in the closing stages. Here he is with Amy.
Well done, Jeremy. How was it out there in that first race?
Yeah, I had a good start. I was second and was making the pass for the lead. I was leading, and yeah, something happened, I went down and I feel shit, I had to come from the back again and I hurt my foot again. So I feel shit, I could have been done more today, but there is a second moto, and I gotta give this up to Red Bull KTM for the great work they do, and the starts are awesome, and I'm really happy.
Well done, we'll see you second race.
Apologies there for the expletives of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, but he's gonna have to make do with third overall in this first moto. But Joel Roulance, the winner here in moto number 1 from both the Red Bull KTMs. Can he do it again in race 2? So, Mike Krass, thanks for joining me here in the broadcast. Let's just recap what happened in race 1. Tommy Searle got off to a good start. Roulance didn't make a good jump, and from the right-hand side, Hurlings came across everybody, but then couldn't go quite far enough. In the end, though, it was Boutron and Van Hoorbeek who fought over the lead on 3 or 4 occasions, with Jake Nichols there in third, and Tommy Searle actually moving into third towards the end of the first lap. This wasn't the first time that Boutron and Van Hoorbeek clashed, and then Tommy Searle, the lap before this, his bike started to steam up pretty bad. He noticed, immediately pulled over, and that was him out of the race. Boutron, well, wanted to go for 25 points, went straight down the inside of Van Hoorbeek. Van Hoorbeek went down, and that allowed Boutron and Nichols to go through. Those two then got into each other, and that opened the door for the 34 of Roulance. Nichols was in second. He just set his fastest lap of the race, trying to hold off Jeffrey Hurlings, and Hurlings went through into second. But in the end as well, Van Hoorbeek got into fourth with that move on Jake Nichols, but it was a win for the 34, Joel Roulance. Jeffrey Hurlings was second, Van Hoorbeek third, Nichols was fourth, And yeah, a great race as well. Mike Crash, thanks for joining us here in the broadcast. Predictions quickly for MX1 Race 1.
I think it's going to be Caroli again. Caroli, De Salle, Bussell.
Okay, right. We'll see you a little bit later on, but we're just about to go back on for MX1.